Welcome to CTV Sports. I'm Dale Schwetz with Jan Edick Frank, and we're live at the Grand Champions Polo Club, field number 1 today for continuing action in the World Polo League All-Star Challenge. This is our final preliminary match here to see who will be headed to the semifinals. If you missed our game this morning, congratulations to Casablanca. Moving on, it's a beautiful day here at the Grand Champions Polo Club. Field 1 is immaculate. We have our 2 mounted officials, Pepe Araya, and we are going to be set up here for our player introduction. So let's go to Jan Edick Frank.
Thank you very much, and a very warm welcome also from me. A good afternoon. Look at that picture, Dale. All 8 players here on the number 1 field at Grand Champions Polo Club. We're going to start from left to right. And before I do, let me just remind you that both of these teams, of course, have won this tournament in previous years. So, starting from left to right in the pale blue shirts, Richard Mille, ladies and gentlemen. Please welcome from Brazil, Gilberto Sayão. And then we go straight into the high handicaps, 9 goals. Please welcome Gonzalito Pierres. There he is coming in at number 2. And then the 10-goaler, Pablo McDonough at number 3. Playing the very important role. And at number 4, ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Alejandro Novillo Estrada coming in off 7 goals. There is your team, Richard Mille, and a big smile on their faces. Over now to Audi. At number 1, leading his team, as always, they call him the Cobra. Give it up for Mr. Mark Ganzi. Then at number 2, our second 10-goaler of this match, give it up for Hector Castagnola, ladies and gentlemen. There he is. Remember, his brother played in the game earlier this morning. At number 3, there is only one man that can, and that is Mr. Nick Roldan. There he is. Good afternoon to you, Nick. And at number 4, all the way from the Great White North from Canada, please give it up for the one and only Mr. Fred Mannix. Now, our 2 mounted officials, Dale's already mentioned them. We have Esteban Ferrari and Pepe Araya, of course, in our studio, in the CTV Sports studio. Our 3rd man and instant replay official, the one and only, the fountain of knowledge, Mr. Steve Lane. Well, Dale, what a perfect setting here. And again, an absolutely immaculate field number 1 here.
You said it. It is truly amazing, the setting right here. I want to thank everyone for coming out here to the Grand Champions Polo Club this afternoon for our match, and also everyone joining us here on CTV Sports. Remember, the World Polo League, top sponsors in the world competing at the highest level, bringing their best 4-legged athlete and top pros from around the world to compete here at the Grand Champions Polo Club. We are using the replay system, so we will have 1 challenge per half. Per team. That's 2 in the first half, and then also a challenge in the second half per team. If they go into overtime, they will receive another challenge. We also have the triggers in place today. The triggers based on a goal being scored. They can check that with the cameras with Steve Lane. The ball going out of bounds from the end line or on the outside, on over the boards. Also, anytime 2 players come together on a ride-off with their 4-legged athletes, and any unsportsmanlike conduct also, which we put in place for the World Polo League, the trigger that if the umpires do disagree, they can send that into our IRO, instant replay official, to help them make and decide which call was right. It looks like the first bowl-in of the game is going to be picked up by Audi, first knock-in by Richard Mille.
And indeed, Dale, as you just rightly said, Nick Roldan trying to get the first shot on target, off and up and running, but now Richard Mille on the move, and the young man from Brazil, Gilberto Sayão, trying to take that ball a bit further down, but you are in for a treat here this afternoon. 2 10-goalers on the field, 2 7-goalers, a 9-goaler, an 8-goaler, of course. So this is what the WPL is all about. Now then, back to the action. Richard Mille, the ball coming there from the number 3, Pablo McDonough, one of those 2 10-goal players I was just talking about, and that could, well, I was going to say that could have been the first shot on goal by the number 2, Gonzalito Pierres, just ever so slightly puts it wide.
Yeah, so both teams coming out here early and shooting at the goal, but both unsuccessful on their shots. But as you were saying earlier, Jan, this field 1 is immaculate. And remember, we saw over 27 goals get scored on field 2 on our Sunday opening featured match here in the World Polo League. This should be a good one.
On the far side once again, Pablo McDonough Getting it a little bit closer and deeper downfield into Audi territory. So let's see which of these two teams is going to get off to the better start here. And before the game started, I was able to just go and talk to one or two of the players, and they are all very, very excited, as is this man, Freddie Mannix here, the man from Canada. He slightly topped it, but he's able to correct it. Now gets out the putter. Fred Mannix for Audi, takes a shot and puts the first goal through. Cracking goal here, brought to you by the man from Canada.
Yeah, coast to coast like butter on toast as Fred Mannix wins the ride-off, turns the defense into offense as fast as it can be done. We've seen this happen so many times at this level. Freddie wearing a number 4, and as we know, as Del Carrillo, who wore the number 4 on Sunday, he was the MVP, so keep an eye on the number 4s on both teams. They will come through, and when they do, they come through on top. Four-legged athletes. What a run there by Frederick Mannix to get the first goal today.
Ball's back in play over on the far side. And as that is always so important, especially at this level, you want to win those throw-ins early on to get yourself into the offensive modus operandi. And an early whistle just after that ball had been thrown into play.
Okay, so we get a bit of a late whistle there, as you would call it, a slow whistle, Jan, and then we'll use that, especially at this level, as the plays develop so quickly. If you watch them come out of the bowl in here, as you have Pablo McDonough there, he leaves the ball on the back, and Hefta comes across, and then you have Nick fall across. And so they let that play out a little bit, and then blew a late whistle, so they're calling that falling across the right-of-way after the play. The ball was at about the 100-yard line when the whistle sounded, so they'll bring that ball down to the 60-yard mark, in which we'll have our first penalty 4 of the day, and on the penalty 4, and it looks like Pablo McDonough will do the honors, the ambassador of Richard Mille.
It's high in the sky, but just slightly gone out to the right-hand side. The wind definitely died down a lot from what it was like earlier this afternoon. Remember, we had our third of our 4 preliminary matches taking place just on the field, 2 fields down. And it was rather blustery this morning. That wind has definitely died down somewhat. Here it is now, a very nice, agreeable temperature. It's just gone 4 o'clock in the afternoon. If you've just joined us, a warm welcome. Great to have you with us here. CTV Sports, the final match of the preliminary rounds here. Remember, the semi-finals are scheduled to take place on Sunday. Remember, you can check out all the information on that on the website. Ball went out of play, so we have a change of possession.
Change of possession, about a good 120. And it looks like Candelito, Alejandro, and Pablo, they're going to sub Gilberto downfield. We're going to use the courtesy change. Our first courtesy change of the day. Remember the courtesy change, we always talk about it once, as we have that one time per half. In the middle, in each chucker, halfway through the chucker, on a dead ball play or a possession play, in which this case will be a change of possession play. Give the players about 45 seconds to a minute to change our four-legged athlete, for safety of the four-legged athlete, and it has been a success. And we talk a lot about the courtesy change, and if you've heard our broadcast before, it's always interesting to compare that to the Triple Crown of Polo, and the Triple Crown of Polo being the 3 horse races in the world. The big Triple Crown, the Secretariat, set the record in 1973 and has yet to be broken. And that's just amazing that no one has broke the record since. But they said Secretariat was and had an overlarge heart and had a stride that was so long that it was very hard to beat that horse. Well, the Preakness is the shortest race. It is 9.5 furlongs. It's 1 mile and 3/16. You have the Kentucky Derby in the middle, which is 1.25 miles, and then the Belmont, which we love to talk about. The Belmont is 1.5 miles, and it's 12 furlongs. They run it in 2 minutes and 24 seconds. Most horses run it in about 2:30, 2:40, 2:50, but Secretariat set the record at 2:24 in 1973. Hence the courtesy change, being that we play a 7.5-minute long chukker in polo. And so it's a perfect time to give the players the opportunity to change their mount. And it is, they can choose the change, or they can just go ahead and leave it. But it looks like everybody's going to take advantage of it early. And on the change of possession, it'll be Alejandro.
Novicio Estrada, rocket launcher there up to the, down the field into, deep into Audi territory. A little bit too steep there for Pablo McDonough to pick up on. So Audi coming back very, very quickly here to pick that one up, and it'll be Castagnola. Castagnola. Now, I did say we saw his brother play earlier this afternoon. And for those of you who did watch that game, Casablanca, of course, the winner taking on Pampanoto Biotricity. They'll be in the semi-final against Dazos La Fe. And, of course, the winner of this game will be playing Brookshire, already waiting for the outcome of this game. Once again now, Richard Mille, and one is going to try and drill one a bit down the field there. Pablo McDonough, given a lot of space to work with. So Audi still not quite, I think, revving up that engine the way we've come accustomed to the way that they like to play. So again, a lot of space here. Chance for a shot on goal, a little flick shot of the wrist, and that ball's still running. But I think, and it went over the line, so it just sort of trickled over the line. So Pablo McDonough picking up his first of the match.
Yeah, Pablo's just going to snap one there, as you said. And, some interesting facts about Pablo. I actually had an opportunity to have him on the talk show that we have, and you can go back to the CTV Sports website and see the 60, and I did the 60 with him. And on the 60 in my talk show, I did different events with it. I played golf with him, and he told me that he holds his mallet differently. He wraps the sling around, and he pushes it with his thumb to give him more control. So keep an eye on Pablo McDonough. He is the ambassador of Richard Mille and an amazing polo player.
On the move here with a nice long drive down the field from Castagnola. And wow, ladies and gentlemen, did you see that head to Castagnola? What's that, 140, 130 yards? Easy.
Yeah, we are getting a little bit of a southeast wind today, but Castagnola and his brother also, Barto, very big hitters of the polo ball. And congratulations, both of them going to 10 goals. And they're carrying their rating. Father Lolo, in town. I think he coached the Casablanca team this morning. And what a goal there. The longest goals this year here in the World Polo League.
And they've won the ball again. Well, that might be short-lived because Richard Mille will pick this one up. Not getting pushed too far in their own half. And you can see at the front there, waiting, Gilberto Sayao. But it's going to be McDonough. McDonough, just with a lot of ease, able to just bring that ball further down the field. A little ride off there by Gonzalito Pierres to allow the 10 goal a bit more space. Oh, he got a piece of that as well. Now then, Pierres, a 9 goal. He was just waiting for that opportunity. But in comes with the number 2, the man who just scored, Hector Castagnola. Great stick work, great ball control, keeping the ball in play, or has he? They're all converged there into the far corner. And with the clock ticking down, there is the first siren, the first horn, so down to the last 30 seconds and counting, but a chance here now for Audi possibly to break away. Going up again, and that will be left initially for Mr. Nick Roldan, and we know what a big hitter he can be, or what a big hitter he is. Sends that one deep down the field. Manning's not able to do much with it, and again, Pablo McDonough coming back, also doesn't mind working in the Ministry of Defence. And will Audi pick up a cheeky last goal? Well, they just ran out of polo field, but what a cracking first chucker here, Dale. 2-1. Audi leave the field at the end of the first period play.
Yeah, I think they might want to roll out of bounds there over the end line, so we might start with a knock-in favor of Richard Mille, but another great run, as we said. So stay with us. Thank you for joining us here on CTV Sports for the 2023 World Polo League All-Star Challenge.
the World Polo League, a new breed of polo.
All right, welcome back, everybody, and we're ready for our second chukker of play. As we have Esteban Ferrari and Pepe Araja as our umpires. If you're just joining us today here again, there's a little bit of feedback on those two teams out here today playing here in our final game of regulation play of the All-Star Challenge.
Well, Dale, both of these teams, excuse me, have won this, of course, the first of our, and this being the fifth year of the World Polo League. They've both already won this tournament. Last year it was Audi in 2022, and the year before that, obviously 2021, Richard Mille. So two former champions competing, but I'm sure for those of you, as Dale was saying, who may have just joined us, is just to get an idea of what names, what caliber of players we've got out there. Let's start with Audi, of course. Audi with Mark Ganzi leading at number 1. At number 2, Heta Castagnola, 10-goal player, of course. At number 3, the one and only Mr. Nick Roldan. And at number 4, from Canada, and they play well together also in San Moritz back in January, Mr. Fred Mannix. For Richard Mille then, great to welcome a young man from Brazil, Gilberto Sayao, playing off 0 goals, and then we've got Gonzalito Pierres coming in at 9 goals. Pablo McDonough, he's already scored once in that first chukker. Pablo McDonough, of course, 10 goal, and Alejandro Novillo Estrada coming in off 7 goals. And as Dale was maybe suggesting at the end of that first chukker, Audi managed to just get a cheeky lead there with a goal from Fred Mannix and Heta Castagnola, a monster goal that we saw there. You join us now with the first whistle at 6:03 in the second chukker.
Yeah, you got it, man. They're going back and forth very quickly. Audi wearing their white jerseys today. Richard Mille in the blue, and it has been back and forth, up and down. And then finally we get a bit of a cluster here, and Heta Castagnola spinning around, trying to get out of there as McDonough, Pablo, and Alejandro Novillo Estrada were not allowing him to escape the situation. Our two umpires, Pepe and Esteban, are going to talk about this one. And get a little feedback there from the captains. Looks like today's captain. And looks like they're coming together here. So we'll see if they decide to go with the call on the field. And it looks like they are going to go with the call on the field here. So it is going to be an uneven ride-off. It looks like they kind of spun, hit the Castagnola around in a circle there. Almost 2-on-1. A bit of a sandwich, you could say, at a standstill.
And that, of course, as we all know, for those of you who don't know, in polo you cannot tackle a player from both sides, from the left or the right. So the so-called sandwich to attack a 2-on-1 is a no-no in the world of polo. And the two umpires here just wanting to shut the books on this one before they release play. And now we're going to have a little conference here. Pepe Araja and Esteban Ferrari will talk to Dale, who is not only, of course, my co-commentator, but himself, of course, a very much sought after and a very experienced umpire. Also has an incredible eye for not only the ball but also for the play, and also understands that there are, of course, many different ways of looking at any given play. But of course, our man in the studio, the state-of-the-art studio, which we have here at CTV Sports, thanks to our executive producer, Mike Ferrer, which is really second to none. We've got the eye in the sky, the drone, of course, one of the best men in the business flying the drone. We've got our centre cam, the lovely Stephanie's up there, of course, always with a big smile on her face. Then we have the two end zone cameras as well. So it's definitely not for lack of having enough angles and enough views to be able to well, look at the footage frame by frame, slowing it down, of course. And as I say, the two umpires there just having a few words there with Dale Schwetz. And it looks like maybe the umpire's stick might have had a bit of a knock, or maybe he just needs to put it back together. So once the umpires get back into situ, they will then well, not call play, and it looks like there's a change in that decision, which for a moment there looked like was going to be a penalty in favour of Audi. And they have now decided to go for a throw-in, so I'm pretty sure Dell will fill us in on what exactly happened over there. We could have had two offsetting fouls, which if that is the case, then that would explain why we've had the throw-in. But, of course, still a slight advantage here for Richard Mille as they find themselves very much deep in Audi territory. Over into the far corner they go then. And so far it has been a very, very amicable and a very, very smooth game so far.
Yeah, so we had a play there where they spun around like we were talking about there, Jan, and, just a bit of a cluster. They were kind of racing and rubbing there, and one umpire thought that they had hit uneven, and so they challenged it. So a very good challenge here by the Richard Mille team, as they'll win their challenge, and they will retain their challenge. Remember, when you challenge a play and you win your challenge, you retain your challenge. So a great challenge by Richard Mille here early in the first half.
And over on the far side, Alejandro Navijo Estrada trying to make a bit more out of that perfect pass he got given. Deep in the half of Richard Mille, but intercepted. Ball is still in play. Looked like it might have just gone out of bounds. Ball is still in play. Thank you, Stephanie. Of course, she up there on the scaffolding has a much better view now. Audi on the break. No one to play it to, so they're going to have to maybe run this one themselves. In comes out of nowhere Mr. Nick Roldan, picks it up on the near side, leaves it one behind for Heta Castagnola. Heta just keeping an eye on the ball, takes a shot, slightly rolled his wrist, but I think he just rolled it a bit too much as that ball will go out on the far left post into the no man's land.
That's a running gun in there, and a good little play on a rotation from Richard Mille. I mean, they go on defense very quickly, and then Nick leaves it for Heta. So good communication by the Audi white team. But as you said, he rolled that one just to the left, and they'll line it back up here for a knock-in with 4:05 on the clock.
So things opening up nicely, and again a lot of space here on the left-hand side for Pablo McDonough. The rotation working very well. Up at front is Gilberto Sayao, anticipating a possible pass. Beg your pardon, that of course is not McDonald, that is Gonzalito Pierres, both with a white helmet, so don't be confused. Pablo McDonough with the number 3, of course, and that's a good first touch by the young man from Brazil. McDonough coming in to lend a helping hand. Over into the corner they go. Now let's see what Gilberto can do here. Try to send a little backhand ball back into the danger zone. He had Mark Ganzi very close behind him. Again, round the outside comes Alejandro Navijo Estrada. Finds a nice little gap to work with. Gets the support. He's got a player right behind him. Actually, 2. Near side, under the neck shot. Cracking goal here by Richard Mille.
Yeah, so they line out very well here. And Gonzalito falls into the rumble seat. And what a perfect guy to have following the play around. Former 10-goal player, Gonzalito Pierres. And he is super smart. And they work so well. It was funny because Gonzalito was actually second in line. And Pablo said, no, you wait. He ran by him. Gonzalito fell into the final rumble seat. And just has a sweet little near side extra. But what a play here by Sayao. Gilberto pulling the team out in front. And one of our new sponsors here, Jan, and we had an opportunity to look at all of our sponsors, and this is great on how this league has been growing, and it's all because of the high level of teams and sponsors that play here at the World Polo League, Grand Champion Polo Club. Let's just start with the Brookshire team who won 16-15 over Travieso Scott Wood.
Yeah, brilliant. Very good performance by him. Very, very close game as well. As we know, Brookshire, of course, waiting for the outcome of the winner of this game here this afternoon.
Teo Kaye, man, this is an amazing dude. The whole family plays. So happy to have this guy back playing here, bringing a super strong team. And I love to see Teo. Just he pulls the team, plays defense. Unbelievable.
Not only that, Dale, he's always got a smile on his face. And despite not winning that opening game, he was very happy just to be taking part of the game. So, yeah, great to see him back, of
One
course.
of our newest sponsors here, Louis X.
Another one.
Who has the injury, and he played half the game, but Louis still came back in and played really well, scored 2 goals in the second half. Great to see the Dow's Lafayette team here.
Of course, and then of course, we go to the Santa Rita. We've got unfortunately the only lady player, but of course a very special lady player, Melissa Ganzi, of course, and over at Casablanca, another Ganzi. We got young Grant Ganzi. He did very well this morning, and of course, great to see him back as well. Waqas Al Sadiq, another man with
second year playing,
another man with a lot of passion, and of course somebody who likes to always push the bar as far as he can, wants to improve his game, a passionate player, and also a gentleman, Dale.
Special player, man. He is so much fun, and all of them bring so many different expertise to the field. What a play right here, though, is they break out, and looks like the Cobra, or Heta, is going to go ahead and jump on there and score his second of the day as he picks it up out of the bowling. He had the Cobra going forward, and it almost looked like that was a pass, actually, from Mark Ganzi. But Mark going to where he needs to be, and that always works very well as you had rotation from Nick Roldan. And look at this. But you can do it, so can I. Here comes Gonzalito.
Pierres on the move, looking once again for a quick equaliser, and so far it's been very, very hit and miss on that one, just ever so slightly going wide. So Audi still after that goal from just a few seconds ago, the second by Hector Castagnola, in the lead by 3-2. But that doesn't mean anything, especially at this early stage of the game. Just coming up to a minute and a half left to play here in the second.
Yeah, bad luck there. That's a great way to go jump on it, as after the Audi team grabs one out of the bowling and goes one way. And like I said, a fabulous shot for Hector. Gonza tries to get the equalizer. In control, Nick.
Roldan, we haven't seen as much of him as we have in the past, but that could also be part of the strategy. We might see a lot more of him later on, but at the moment, I don't think there is that much need, of course. Nick Roldan, again, a very, very solid, technically one of the best players you'll see out there, especially when it comes to those cut shots, which I love when he does from the most ridiculous, difficult angles. Nick Roldan will find a little gap to put the ball through. Now that on the move again, the 10-goaler, Pablo McDonough just waltzing Matilda straight through that Audi defence. But now it's once again Mr. Nick Roldan, and if there is one man who can, nice extension there by Fred Mannix. Well, he sent it downfield, hoping that Castagnola would be there before. But once again, turned around by the number 2, Gonzalito Pierres. Pierres, a nice long ball down the field, and Gonzalito Pierres puts up his second, and with that, Dale gets the equalizer.
You said it well. You let him go to goal once, and if he misses once, he is definitely going to come back and make up for it. I know Gonzalito Pierres. I got to play with him when he came to America when he was 9 goals. One of the most fun years I've ever had on the polo field. He is an amazing former 10-goal player, Argentine Open winner, U.S. Open winner. He's won all the tournaments here at the World Polo League, and he is going to be a very strong player here for the Richard Mille team. We got a set of 3s on the board as we come in for our third chukker of play. So stay with us. Remember, we will have our stats after our third chukker, and we'll be back on CTV Sports.
We're here at the Santa Rita Polo Farm where the PTF Polo ASSN Junior Tournament is being held for the first time ever at this location. And I mean, could you get a more beautiful venue? Probably not. The tournament includes players of all ages, starting with the youngest at just 2 years old and the oldest at 20 years old. So you've got all ages, all skill levels, and a whole lot of fun. Let's go check it out.
It reminds me of my days when I was in that position playing the kids tournament, and for us it meant the world. So I'm very happy to be here supporting my son and other kids as well, because I think they really enjoy this, and for them it's even more important than for us probably playing the 26 or the 22.
Well, that's a wrap on the PTF Polo ASSN Juniors Tournament at the Santa Rita Polo Farm. So much incredible talent coming up through the ranks. The future is certainly bright for the sport of polo. Now, for more information on the PTF, head to polotraining.org. And of course, head to Chucker TV for all of our awesome content, including full game broadcasts.
8 teams entered, single elimination tournament. And as we said earlier, if you watch some of our broadcasts, 10 6-goalers, well, 6 10-goalers, including Pablo, Barto, Castanola, Pablo playing now, Juan Martin Nero, Heta Castanola playing now, Polito Pierre, Sapo Cassette, 4 9-goalers, Gandelito Pierre playing right now, Juan Martin Zubia, Francisco Elizalde, and Nico Pierres. And it looks like we're okay for the bowl in here, guys, as we got everybody lined up. Our 2 mounted official professional umpires, international from Argentina, with Esteban Ferrari and Pepe Araya. Dale Schwetz and Yanetta Frank calling the game for you here live on CTV Sport. Thanks for joining us. We're in third Chucker action.
And what a pleasure it is to once again be here, Dale. And as you said yourself, we have a set of threes, actually 3 threes on the scoreboard, as this is now the beginning of Chucker number 3. And look at Hector Castagno. Look how he controls that ball. But Gonzalito Pierre is eventually coming out on top in that 2-man duel. Still Gonzalito. He's only got Gilberto Sayao to play with, and there is that pass for the young man from Brazil as he approaches the ball. Solid first shot here from, oh, what a cracking goal. If that would have gone in, Gilberto, unlucky, but he read it well, puts himself just where he needed to be, just a little bit unlucky on the finish.
Gilberto Sayao, I've never met the man before, but he is making a statement here today on the Richard Mille team, and he's pulling the seam so well. Yeah, and you're going to have to keep an eye on him. He hits the ball very crisp, and I love his positioning. He's always right in the right spot. Very, very smart with his polo intelligence. But on the quick knock-in, big ball down the center. Everybody working hard, and it's going to be picked up and controlled by Pablo.
Yeah, Mark Gansey just coming a little bit too late to pick up that ball. So Richard Mille, remember they are in the pale blue shirts, and there is Alejandro Navijo Estrada just trying to find a little bit of a space for himself to work with. A slight deflection, and the first man on the ball, well, again, we're just letting the umpires take their time, but you could see it quite clearly. I'm sure you could too, Dale, that Nick Roldan had already established himself on that right of way.
Yeah, definitely looked from my angle that the Audi white with Nick Roldan had a lesser angle. Remember, on these plays with the right of way is all based on angles, and the lesser angle will go to the player following the ball. A player meeting the ball or coming into the line from left to right. In this case, it was Gandelito coming from the center of the field. The player coming from behind will have an edge because he's following the ball. So you need to be 100% on that line. Good positioning by Pepe Rada, one of our mounted officials, and they'll drop that ball for a penalty 5A. First of the day for Fred Mannix.
And he will send it out to the right-hand side. Nice little pass. He's found Castagnola. Now, Castagnola, as we know, a danger, especially if you give him a chance to take a shot on goal from anywhere in the field. Nice little cheeky play around the back there, picked up by Nick Roldan. Now, Nick Roldan gets a chance to unleash a monster of a shot, and that only just ever so slightly went wide out to the right.
Yeah, a cheeky little play here by Heta and Nick. And they're playing the 3 and 2, so I was looking for that combination. I've never seen Heta and Nick play in those positions together. I love Freddie at back, and we all know the Cobra loves to play the number 1, pull the team. So I like that little sneaky play in the middle, and a strong shot here by Roldan, who we know is the big hitter. Turn the defense into offense. Heta.
Castagnola, give him a chance like that, and normally he'd put those away in his sleep. So, yeah, they've got to be a little bit tighter on those knockouts, on those knock-ins, Dale.
Yeah, this is good defense here by Audi, but you remember the set plays are so big, and those are the knock-ins, penalty 5 A's and B's. So let's see if Richard Mille can get a set play going here, as Alejandro will do the honors.
Navijo Estrada sends everybody out to the left-hand side. Once again, Mannix. And I remember last year, Dale, when we saw Fred Mannix playing, it's always nice when we see exactly what he's doing now is then he comes forward, does the rotation. Fred Mannix trying to, after he did all the hard work on the inside, on the near side, not able,
Power polo at its finest. Freddie running a turn on the near side over there, Jan. I like the non-call based on the speed and the power. He came out of that play faster than he went into it and it almost put it away. But what Richard Mille will control in the corner.
Still a little bit of a sword fight going on. Good pick up here. Here we go. A little under the neck. A difficult angle, but coming charging down the line. The man from Brazil gets taken out of the action. Again by the number 2, Gonzalito Pierres. Just a little bit quicker, but again, reading the play exceptionally well here. Gilberto Sayao. And now a little sword fight going on between Pablo McDonough and Mark Ganzi. Now the ball will be left for Alejandro Novillo Estrada. Play is called. Now again, we want to see positive play, no negative play, no stalling.
Getting into it down there. Everybody was got a bunching up. Alejandro very composed, and now he'll get the rotation, and they'll get it back to Gonzalito.
And Gonzalito sees that McDonough is behind him. Now he will put on the power. And that's another superb pass up to the front door. Gilberto, good first touch. Well, he's done that. You said it just now, Dale, yourself. Good position play. And there is the shot. Oh, there wasn't much in it. I was nearly a Remington. That was very, very close.
Oh,
indeed.
man. And again, I got to give Gilberto a praise here. He positions himself so well. Sayao is always in the right spot. He never gets too far away. He's never too close. He always gives himself a chance to hit that first ball. He never rushes when he hits his first ball. He's had 3 shots on goal. But as Memo Garcia, School of Memo Garcia, they keep on shooting. Those goals will come. So Richard Mille now turning the defense into offense. But Jan, remember the beginning of this chucker, and we'll see it in our stats at halftime, Audi peppering the goal in the third chucker with almost 4 or 5 knock-ins for the Richard Mille team just in this chucker alone.
Well, so far with another 2:41 on the clock, it's 2-1 and 2-1 or 1-2. The opening chucker, Audi won by 2-1 with Fred Mannix and Hector Castagnola scoring. Pablo McDonough the only player for Richard Mille, but then it was exactly a reverse. Gonzalito Pierres hitting the target twice in chucker number 2, and Hector Castagnola with that monster goal. So far, just that was the only goal for Audi in chucker number 2, and so far, no score yet, Dale, here in chucker number 3, and we've got a good 2:40 left to play.
Yeah, very neutral chucker. Both teams, both shooting at the goal, and just off to the left, off to the right. They'll go to the tents at halftime and get that fixed up, but both teams using the speed of the horses, and here's one guy that's been rocking and rolling, but you're going to get a whistle on the play here, and this is the play that I talked about earlier, and we'll see now. Now, Audi they still have a challenge. Audi still has a challenge, and the Richard Mille used their challenge, so we'll see. They'll both have them here, so we'll see what happens. They're going to talk about this one.
Yeah, but that is exactly the play you were talking about.
They actually won their challenge to Richard Mille, so they still both have challenges on the play. So we'll see what happens. If they stop, it looks like Audi's going to go ahead and hold theirs with 2:27. It is called against Audi, and this is an interesting play. I wondered if they want to take a look at this one or not, just because they are going to move this ball. Yeah, and we are going to get a challenge.
Okay.
I figured they would.
Yeah, kind of did suggest as so we have a challenge on the ball placement now based on the infringement that took place. So this is again a job or a case for our man in the IRO. A challenge on the ball placement is the reason.
Checking the ball placement. Audi.
Yeah, and Esteban Ferrari coming up to have a little word with Dale. And Mark Ganzi, of course, the captain, just making it quite abundantly clear that he wants to challenge that decision. So, placement, beg your pardon, the placement of the ball, where that ball will be placed based on the infringement that took place before. He is clearly suggesting it should be a hit from the spot, and already sort of suggesting to his teammates to come back to to where that ball should be placed. The umpires initially decided to offer a penalty in front of goal, so we'll have to wait for what exactly Steve Lane was able to deduce by looking at the footage, and I can see by the look on Dale's face, he's got some news for us.
Yeah, so we had you may challenge. Remember, you can challenge the foul in the game, but you could also challenge the ball placement. So, well done, Audi. They didn't disagree with the foul. They thought it was a foul. The Fred had to go near side, and they did have contact there. So the umpires thought that it should be moved up to a 40, which was a big move because you got the spot, the 60, and the 40. And because they thought it was a little dangerous, because Pablo got it. But they got to send it to the IRO, took a good look at it, and didn't think it was as dangerous as they thought. And so they go with the spot hit. So a very good challenge here by Audi. So Audi will retain their challenge. So a great spot challenge by Audi, saving a goal shot penalty and moving it back to about the 120-yard line. So very successful challenge by the Audi team.
Makes a big, big difference. So here we go then. Alejandro Novillo Estrada from the spot. And that is a long, long, deep, deep ball, and a little finishing touch is all it would have taken. And then with the number 3, Pablo McDonough picks up goal number 2, and by doing so puts Richard Mille back in the lead. The only goal so far down here in Chaka 3.
Very nice shot here by Alejandro Novillo Estrada, hitting the ball dead down the center. Great work by Gonzalito just to get it away from Fred Mannix. And then, as you would say, Pablo hovering around, waiting for the beach ball, and then an easy goal from the 40-yard line.
So with that, 4 goals to 3, ball is back in play. Let's have a look at the clock. Ticking down to coming up to a minute and a half left to play, and Alejandro Novillo Estrada is going to have another crack at this. Sends that one again to Gonzalito. Gonzalito with a cut shot. Oh, cracking goal here by the non-goaler.
Wow, and this is where you get the double trouble. As Richard Mille, they successful on the 5A and then come to the center and win another bowl then, and Gonzalito picks up his 3rd goal here in the first half, and that he did. They scored those 2 goals in under 45 seconds.
So, Dale, 2 goals to 1 at the end of the first, 3 goals apiece at the end of the second. And now, with a minute left to play here in the first half, Richard Mille have a little cushion here, leading by 5 goals to 3. As Audi, and that'll be Hector Castagnola trying to send a long ball downfield. And I'm sure that Richard Mille will be very happy with the way things are at this stage of the game.
Yeah, back and forth, as they said. There's Richard Mille just coming alive here in the last minute of the 3rd chukker. And it's been, as I said, the Audi team, we'll see. I can't wait to see the halftime stats here, Jan, as how many goals that they shot a goal and just missed.
Well, you might have heard the horn in the background, but the ball was knocked in just before, so they will play a maximum of 30 seconds, unless that ball, of course, goes out of bounds. A whistle will be blown or a goal will be scored. And Audi would love to pick up another quick goal before they go into that halftime break. Down to the last 8 seconds or so to play. Castagnola not able to get another piece on that. And Richard Mille will just hammer that one up towards the halfway line. And that will be it for the first half, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Give them a round of applause. So 2 unanswered goals here by Audi, as Pablo McDonough and Gonzalito Pierres both hitting the target. Well, we will let the players go off to the pony lines, as before we go to a commercial break, Dale, as always, will be happy to bring you the halftime stats.
All right, thank you, Jan. As always, here we go, 5-3, and just a great finish here by the Richard Mille team. But I didn't realize it, but they're going to tie on shots on goal, 10-10. And I thought that they had more shots, but Richard Mille knocking in 7 times in the first half, and Audi knocking in 5 times. So there's a bit of a difference right there when it comes to the stats. On the throw-in, 6-4, Audi winning 6, Richard Mille winning 4, and on the fouls committed, 2 by Audi and 1 by Richard Mille. And then basically no one scored on those shots. So a very tight first half here, kind of a roller coaster ride, but we're live here at the Grand Champions Polo Club, field number 1 for the World Polo League All-Star Challenge. We're going to go to our halftime break, and we'll be back here for our second half on CTV Sports.
My name is Augustine Malman. I am a chef. I trained with my uncle in Argentina in several restaurants, and now I travel the world creating unique experiences, all cooked with fire. For this event, we came from California. My team and I had some previous events there, and we traveled with my wood oven trailer and all of our grills from Santa Barbara, California. Well, when we got here, we always arrive about a week prior to the event. There's several things that we order from out of town, like the firewood. We make reservations of all of the rental items, kitchen equipment, anything we need prior to our arrival is already reserved. And then once we arrive into town, we'll source out whatever products are on the menu, like fish, red meats, fruit, vegetable, anything that we need specifically for that menu that we chose. We will source it once we get in town. My team is everything. I mean, I always tell them and to my clients, without a good team, you can't execute these kind of dinners. It takes a lot more work than what people see when they show up to the events. It takes, like I said, sometimes weeks to prepare for an event like this because we're traveling from out of town, so we have to source everything we're not familiar with. The new barn is, we're here. This is the first dinner we're doing here, so we're very excited to be here. It's amazing. It's a great place to be, and it has this inner courtyard, which is amazing to do dinners, with a special area back here behind me to do all of our grilling and the fire showcase. So it's great to be here. It's a beautiful place. Very different being up in the mountains, but I feel with Melissa and Mark and all the events we do together, I feel like it's home. We've been cooking for them for about 4 or 5 years now. But as far as showcasing what we want to showcase and being in an incredible place like Aspen Valley Polo Club, that's no difference to Wellington. It's a beautiful place up here. It's going to be a 4-course seated meal. As the first course, we have a halloumi cheese that we sear on our fire plancha with shrimp, pine nut gremolata sauce on top. The second course seated will be a roasted beetroot salad with goat cheese and arugula, lemon zest and olive oil. And then the main course tonight will be a mashed potato, sweet potato puree with skirt steak and chimichurri sauce. My name is Augustine Malman, and we are in Aspen Valley Polo Club, one of the most beautiful places to do an outdoor fire dinner experience.
Welcome back to CTV Sports. I'm Dale Schwetz with Jan Edick Frank, and we're live at the Grand Champions Polo Club. Field number 1 this afternoon for a doubleheader in our final game in preliminary play. Based on this will be, well, these two teams will get our 4th team that will go into the semifinals. And this game was started out 226 goal team, Richard Mille, with Guilherme Sal, who's been playing well from Brazil. Jan and I were just talking about it. What a great outcome he has had early. Didn't pick up any goals in the first half, but shooting that goal a lot in a great position, Jan.
Absolutely, Dale, and I think that goal is a goal in the making. And he of course, is Gilberto making his debut here at the World Polo League. Great to have this young man from Brazil be so strong, and he kind of also reminds me of Waqas Al-Sadiq, of course. Another very, very strong patron and also a motivator within the team. Is always somebody who wants to improve himself, is very, very open to criticism, wants to improve his game, and of course at that level, playing alongside Gonzalito, Pablo McDonald, Alejandro Navijo, well, you can't but learn from these guys.
Yeah, no, great team. They're in the blue jerseys today. If you're just joining us, Gonzalito Perez playing the number 2 at 9 gold, Pablo McDonald, the ambassador, playing number 3 at 10 gold, and Alejandro Navijo Estrada playing number 4 at 7 goals. On the Audi white, Mark Ganzi playing the number 1 on 1 goal, Heta Casanola playing number 2 on 10 goals, Nick Roldan played number 3 on 8 goals, and Fred Mannix, who played very, very, very strong in the first half. I like him running through as much as he is on 7 goals. They scored 2 goals in the first, Chucker, Heta, and Fred, and then 1 goal by Pablo, so they left 2-1. And then 2 goals by Gonzalito Perez, he came alive, and 1 goal by Nick, and that made it 3-3. And then 2 unanswered goals in the third Chucker to make it 5-3, and that's how we get to our halftime. What do you think about the first half?
Well, yeah, I was just thinking about that, and we spoke about it in the halftime break. First of all, it is a very, very evenly balanced match. Both of these teams, as you said, Dale, coming in off 26 goals. We've seen some moments of genius, especially Fred Mannix. I think he's been extremely productive and effective as well. Heta Castagnola, of course, with that cracking long-distance goal. But so far, a man who's impressed me in most, and has probably reflected by the fact that he has scored most goals, has been Gonzalito Perez. But I'd like to, in the second half, Del, see a little bit more of Nick Roldan getting involved, because it just feels to me, or it seems to me, that he's been holding back a little bit, and we know what a danger to anyone Nick Roldan can be. Yeah,
I love the design here in the World Polo League. We talk about this being our first tournament, the All-Star Challenge, and that that'll lead in our remaining tournaments in the World Polo League. We have the Inventor of the Founders Cup, the Palm Beach Open, Tommy Hitchcock Legacy Memorial, the Triple Crown of Polo, and then Beach Polo World Cup Miami Beach. And that's been a big, big hot ticket around the world. And all that will happen, those final 2 tournaments in April, they happen very close together, so you can actually combine your polo holiday. And this tournament, though, being single elimination, does add that extra level where you need to come together quickly and get it going, because you win or you go home. And the design is superb for the level of fields, horses, players, sponsors at such a high level of 26 goals. And everyone, of course, if you're not used to the World Polo League, 26 goals, and the league playing through April, the World Polo League carrying on, preserving the highest level of polo and the rich tradition in the U.S.
And that is exactly what's about to happen now. The players are coming back out on the field. And now also, just for those of you who've just joined, Dale, you mentioned it earlier, both teams get 1 challenge per half. However, if that challenge, and we saw Mark Ganzi make a very good challenge on the ball placement.
Actually, we had both teams won their challenges.
Correct, but those challenges are not brought forward or carried over into the second half.
No.
So it's
a lot of people have talked about that, carrying them over. But based on our design, that is, we add challenges anyways. But you always hear, we're open-minded to hear what people think as we design the game to make it more spectator-friendly and more fun to play. And our rules are based on that and our procedures. But this is the first time and first game that I've seen in many games where both teams have actually had successful and well-organized challenges, so congratulations to both the teams and the captains on their ability to win and use the challenge system at a high level.
So barely had that ball been released or play being called. We can look at the clock here. At 7:30 is when we started. It is now at 7:19. So all of not even 20 seconds played. And we have our first whistle of the game. And I'll be interested to see, Dale, how the team talk and that halftime break will have affected and what the strategy is going to be going forward for Team Audi, because as you know, they are currently down by, or trailing by 2. And Alejandro Navijo Estrada for Richard Mille will take this penalty from the spot at 5A.
Yeah, it was interesting on the stats. I thought we were going to see more knock-ins by Richard Mille, but actually it was pretty even. It was just split up. You know, the Audi team shot a goal in a cluster in the third, and the Richard Mille team, they actually just missed a goal through the 3 chucker. So it's pretty even. Stats across the board. You know, so it's this game come. We got to change of possession here. It'll be Fred
Mannix, the young man from Canada. As I said, he's been working very well and very hard. And yeah, well, you can see Alejandro not happy with that, but it's quite clear to see that Heta was firmly established on that right of way.
Yeah, we'll see what they decide to do here. You know, I know the risk-reward matrix, but we'll see what they decide. On the replay, it looks like Alejandro had to come from left to right, and the ball does pass. So we are going to get a challenge on the play.
Okay, well, that's a great way to start the first half early on here. 6:48 still to play here in chucker number 4. So a total of 42 seconds only played, and our first challenge. And so far, we've... well, I think subject to what I think your body language is telling me, Cal, looks like it's an open-shut case here.
Yeah, I mean, risk-reward matrix, for me, I just don't approve. I don't agree with the challenge. I just don't think to use challenges early. That's just what we've figured out over the years. I like saving them for the 3rd chucker and the 6th chucker. Well, if you look at the next in the risk-reward matrix would be the penalty. What kind of penalty shot did they get? They are getting a goal shot penalty, so you would have saved the penalty 4 out of it. And I'm not sure who did the challenge, but I always say the person who fouls should not be involved in a challenge and never challenge with emotion, because the player that fouls never thinks he fouled or he never would have fouled. So, I don't know how they did design that one, but they're going to lose their challenge.
And Hector Castagnola will take this open goal penalty 3 and will not make a mistake. So Castagnola picking now up his 3rd goal of the match as well. The only player to have done that so far is Gonzalito Pierres. So, back in the game, just 1 goal in it, 6.5 minutes left to play here in chucker number 4. So, now, with that challenge, of course, and this is what you were talking about, Dale, with that risk-reward matrix, Richard Mille have obviously now played and lost their challenge. So no more challenges for them here in the second half, coming up to the 6-minute mark. And again, one of those monster shots down the field. Just gone slightly out to the left-hand side, but just 1 goal in it.
There's a back and forth, and actually on the end, on the high end, there's actually an open goal penalty 3 on that one. So would have saved that one, Jan. It looked pretty clear on the tape, pretty easy one for the IRO. You could see that ball did pass Heta on his boot side. Within 2 strides, and a player coming from left to right. So kind of hard to argue it. But here we go on the knock-in, and what a ball by Alejandro, and it'll be Pablo.
And he picks it up on the full volley. Second shot on the full volley. Did you see that? He's got Mark Ganzi on his left, and he had Fred Mannix on his right. So good call there by the Cobra, just to ease off a little bit, not to be caught with a 2-on-1 situation. Roldan leaning far out of the saddle. Here we go. Nick Roldan for Audi, just taking the pace out a little bit. He's got 2 players in front, and we have a whistle from Pepe Araja.
So they come inside here. Nick just slams down the brakes, and I think Lito would have had a chance to come out of there, but then he had another player ride by and try to make a play. So if you watch this one on the replay here, watch Nick. Nick's going to knock it down, and they're going to go ahead and, he's going to block him right there. and then we're going to go ahead and they're going to talk to us.
Right away, because which was, but it was a blind man could have seen that. Oh, I see. Right. Okay. So, as a result of that blocking foul, .40 yards the distance, and that, of course, is a penalty 3. 40 yards, a penalty 3. Let's look at the clock. Still early doors here. Still a good 5 minutes left to play here in the fourth chukker. And I'm pretty sure it'll be another case for Heta Castagnola. And Heta makes no mistake, picking up goal number 4. And with that, Dale, we now have 2 sets of 5s on the scoreboard.
Yeah, so that changes very quickly, and it does do that in the polo game. It changes so quickly, but once again, just 2 loose plays here. And it's a little miscommunication there already. I realized maybe one player had Nicky held up, and another player came by to make a play on him, so they'll talk that out. 2 very well-schooled. This team is very, very smart, this Richard Mille team. And with 4:45 to be precise on the clock, 5-5, we have attack time for Nick Roldan. And it looks like Nick decided just to change horses really quick, and he's back to the center.
Ball's released by Araja. Picked up quickly by Alejandro. Trying to take the scenic route round the outside. He's got 2 players to get around. One is being Mark Gans. He comes in for a knock and a challenge. Good play here by the Cobra. And as much as you say, Dale, and I agree with you, he does love playing the number 1 position, but he also does love coming back and coming in defence. He's definitely a team player. Nice little shot through the centre. Tees it up nicely for Mannix. Mannix now, good first touch. He's got Pierre is right behind him. Again, in comes the Cobra. Tries to launch another one up to the front, under the neck, possibly there from Mannix, but he got a piece of it. Oh, unlucky there, but great play. The combination there, Mannix and Mark Ganzi, and the whistle will stop the clock at 3:58.
So now they come across the center here, and on a design play this is a change, a quick line change with players running from different directions at full speed, and they're going to call it against the blue, but the only issue here is the blue does not have the ability to challenge. So this might have been an issue where they had an opportunity, but hence the matrix.
So Audi trailing by 2 at the half-time break. It was 3-5. They've come back. Castagnola with a couple of very nice little goals there, making it 5 goals apiece. And no sooner had those words left my mouth has he scored his 3rd goal of this chukker. So a hat-trick here, and with that, Dale puts Audi back in the lead, 6-5. Was that a 2 or a 3, Chase? Was that a 2 or a 3?
I think it was 2. I think it was a 2 check. I think it was 2.
So 3.
So on the penalty 2 there on that one. He's inside the 40-yard line, so they got to move that one forward. They'll take it to our courtesy change.
Indeed, 3.5 minutes, or 3:34 to be precise, left to play. So Audi revving up that engine now nicely here in the second half. So far, Dale, it's 3-0 in favour of Audi, and 3 times the scorer being Heta Castagnola.
Yeah, Heta come alive and getting the penalty shot. It's pretty similar to what his brother did this morning, didn't he? In the 4th chukker or the 3rd?
5.
5
scored,
goals,
yeah.
so they're battling it out, I guess. Family tradition there. And but that does well for them, as they'll push each other. But as I said, when they come out of the tent, the locker room, you never know. You know, they always gather themselves. We do not mic up or camera the locker room as they do in most sports. They don't allow you in the locker room to hear game plans. But that's where the design does come from. Looks like we have all 8 players, 3:34 to be precise on the clock, 6-5 now. And we'll have all of our bowlers right here in front on Pepe Araya. And it's going to be Nick.
Roldan. I'd like to see, oh, look at that, that's what he does so well, teeing up the ball nicely here for the Cobra. Ganzi, one touch polo. Well, he might need a second one on the near side just to nudge it in. Very unlucky there, but what a great pass from Nick Roldan.
Yeah, good pick up here out of the bowl in, and a sweet shot by Nick, very quick, and Mark is another number one who never, he always knows where to be on the field, not too far in front, not too far behind, just a little bad luck on the approach shot, almost finished it off. But it'll be Alejandro, and he has been peppering the knock-ins. Uh-oh, we got a breakaway coming.
And McDonough, he saw once again Gilberto Sayao on the move. Oh, a little bit unlucky there. Roldan coming back just to stop anything from getting a little bit too dangerous or dangerously close in front of that goal mouth. Roldan passes it over to Castagnola. We'll try and take that player with him, at least block him if he can, to allow Castagnola the space to do exactly that. Send it back, the rotation, the two-man working very well together here, Roldan and Castagnola. Down comes the hammer on the near side from Gonzalito Pierres. Richard Mille have it. I was just getting into full flow there, Dale, and we have another whistle.
Yeah, they come around there, and it was opened up, and then players bobbing, Dougie said, duck and dive, bobbing, weaving, around and around they go. And it's going to catch an Audi player on the turn here. On the replay, he gets backed up there by Gonza, controlled by Pablo. Pablo puts it underneath his own player's horse, but it hits a pony. And remember, when a horse kicks the ball, it's a quick line change. Yes. So the line changing, it doesn't matter if your own teammate or an opposing teammate, but if the line changes, and people say, well, how far does it have to change? It only has to change far enough that the umpire saw it change. So it could be an inch.
Correct.
It doesn't need to be a yard, 5 yards, 10 yards. So we get a blocking foul here, a turn afterwards, and we'll have a 5B from the center, and it'll be Alejandro.
Novijo Estrada launches. Look at that ball go. It's still up in the air, slightly out to the left-hand side. Roll down with an inside backhand. Will turn things around nicely. And Castagnola, the recipient, will be thinking, that is just how I like him. And, oops. Well, Castagnola not happy with it. The umpire allowing advantage to give. Now, of course, we know that from the WPL, that they will be as lenient as they can. But, of course, health and safety will always come first.
If they come together here, and then the ball's going up and down the field, and it looks like this there, kind of another quick little line change. That changed direction a bit as they came down, and it looked like he stole that one away. And then Gonzalito stole the ball. It looked like Pablo was going to ride it out, and then Nick comes flying in there. And this will go in favor of the Richard Mille team. And they'll drop this ball from the center to 5A. And it'll be Alejandro again.
And this time he chooses just to tap it in, bringing a bit more into the center of the field before he unleashes another one of those monster shots. Goes out to the right-hand side. Ganzi, the first man to the scene of that play. Over onto the boards they go. Let's have a look at the clock. 1.5 minutes or thereabouts left to play here in chukker number 4. Remember, 2 more chukkers coming your way, dear viewers. Now, remember, chukker number 3, it was 2-0 for Richard Mille. And at the moment, Audi...
That'll stop the clock now with the whistle on the play. And we'll stop the clock. And we'll stop the clock. That'll be on a spell ball on the grounds, on the possession play.
So once again, Audi on the move. Quickly taken. That's it from the spot. Castagnola. There it comes. He saw that, this young man, Fred Mannis, was right behind him. Tries to send that one back up. Intercepted nicely by Gonzalito. Oh, a little belly shot. We call that a millionaire shot. And Roldan got a piece of that. Incredible. He does have eyes in the back of his head. That Nick Roldan. How he managed to get a hold of that. And again, not only that, but also play it so that Ganzi nearly got a pick up on that. And once again, over on the far side with the number 3, the 10-goaler, Pablo McDonough opens things up nicely. And there is that first horn. 30 seconds and counting. Richard Mille Well, they're trailing by 1 goal, but they're all the way down in their own half, so I don't think they're going to have the time that's left. We're down to the last, about 15 or so seconds here. Audi coming in very early to challenge, and the only man waiting for that pass is Gilberto Sayao. And, maybe 4 or 5 seconds left, and it'll be Mannix, and he will just clear it, and he heard the call from Roldan, and that is it, ladies and gentlemen. Give him a round of applause. 5 goals to 6 or 6 goals to 5, depending on how you want to look at it. They will go and change ponies, and we will be back for the penultimate 5th chukker after these short messages right here on CTV Sports.
Hi, this is Manny Pacquiao to the World Polo League host Mark and Melissa Ganzi. I would like to congratulate the both of you for the opening of 2023 polo season in Florida. Thank you also for welcoming my best friend Mikey Romero and his Global Port team to the Grand Champions Polo Club to compete in the highest level of polo in North America. I wish you all the best of luck during this season, and God willing, I can come and visit Florida to meet you also and cheer for our Global Port team. God bless everyone. Stay safe. Know that God is good all the time. Thank you. Mabuhay.
Foot golf is a kind of life, and also it's a combination about golf and football.
So I got into sport through social media. Someone approached me on Twitter and said, "Have you tried it?" I'd never heard of it at that point. So I went to my local course and tried it, and just completely fell in love with the game.
This is not as easy as it looks on your body. It's a lot of kicking. We don't normally kick this many hard kicks in soccer.
For me, this and the US Open are the 2 top US tournaments. It's something we all look forward to every single year.
Great fun, and I think everyone will enjoy it when they try it. You can't not have fun.
When you set goals at the start of the season and you're able to achieve them at the end of the year, I think I can speak for everyone and say when we set goals and we make the sacrifices that we make, which a lot of people don't see, and then it all comes to fruition, it's a good feeling.
I literally live, breathe foot golf.
Oh, here we go. 5th chukker action, 6-5. Yan and Craig, a very close one here. We figured this one would be very, very tight.
Indeed, we would. And Dale, like I said, they kind of reversed the roles here. Chukker number 3, I'll have to repeat myself here, but Richard Mille scoring twice, and Audi not a single goal. Chukker number 4, thrice. A hat-trick there from Hector Castagnola, and not a single goal from Richard Mille. So it really is 6 of one, half a dozen of another. This really could still go either way. Now, of course, we do need a winner. As you said yourself, Dale, it is by elimination. So we will definitely have a winner of this preliminary round, who will, of course, as we mentioned already earlier, be playing or facing Brookshire in the semi-finals, which, of course, are due on Sunday. We know that Casablanca, who won this morning, will be facing Dazos Lafay.
Yep, that should be a good semi. A good semi-final.
And now let's go back to the action. Ball, of course, play will resume or recommence where play ended at the end of that last chukker. And on the ball as we speak, 10-goaler Pablo McDonough. Turns it around nicely. A lot of room to play with once again. Looking for Gonzalito. It's a bit too short there for Gilberto. And the man with the number 3, one of my favourites, as you know, especially when it comes to those cut shots, is Mr. Nick Roldan. And so far it is exactly that. Nick Roldan and Mark Ganzi, the only 2 players who have yet to score in the team Audi. Castagnola so far leading the goal scoring tally with a total of 5 goals to his name. Right after that, we will have Gonzalito Pierres. He scored 3 times as well so far here in this match. But a little bit patchy over there in front of that goal mouth after Alejandro Navijo Estrada tried to clear the way. Turned. Nicely done. Who's there? No one there in a blue shirt. McDonough won't get there in time. It'll be the number 2 once again. Hector Castagnola for Audi. And he does a very clever job in turning it around and sends one down the field, and it's just gone wide again. So it's not for a lack of trying, but they are shooting on goal.
Yeah, and both teams, as I said, I was surprised that, as we said, I missed out a little bit. I guess because Audi had a cluster of misses, in the third. But both teams actually getting their opportunities, Jan. So very strong offensive attack by both teams. And, if you notice, both teams shooting the ball. We see that a lot. I love that about the World Polo League. Oh, what a bang shot by Alejandro, and Gonzalito's on the move.
And look at that pony open up. Gonzalito makes it look so easy. What a great pass, and Gonzalito won't have to do much. Oh, he just overcooked it ever so slightly.
Oh, man, and that is a Remington at the full shot of a Remington. And what a shot by Alejandro Navijo Estrada. He has been hitting the ball so clean. We talk about his brother, Nacho Navijo Estrada, being such a big hitter, but Alejandro now, the younger brother of the Estrada group, and he is just hitting the ball clean, and a great read there by Gonzalito to get out in front of Fred Mannix. And now on the other side, hit up a good D there by Richard Mille, and it'll be Alejandro.
Navijo Estrada once again. Will he maybe try and run this one in himself? He's got Gonzalito right behind him, so the rotation working very well. There is the daisy cutter back into the danger zone. McDonough is there. McDonough just needs to get the putter out, and there it is, Dale. It was a goal in waiting, cracking goal here. And it again started with the pass or the assist from Alejandro Navijo Estrada.
Yeah, Alejandro coming in and being the maestro, as you could say, using the two high goalers, 10 and 9 goals on McDonough and Pierres, and doing a superb job and great rotation. Myself, Gilberto doing a great job rotating around now. And look at this. Richard Mille's going to get the equalizer with 4 minutes on the clock.
And we are in the fourth. Chaka and McDonough. All of a sudden, looks like Richard Mille have got an extra spring in their step. Once again, Pablo McDonough just wants to avoid the traffic. Well, that'll be an interesting one for the umpires to have a discussion and to mull over, because Castagnola came right in there.
Yeah, and I think he might have just got over it a little bit there. The gray mare kind of spun to the left a little bit. He reaches back. We'll get a good look at it. Great ball control. As I said, remember Pablo, he holds that mallet a little different, and he said he does it for these reasons, for ball control. And when Heta slammed on the brakes there, it looked like he tried to move out of the way, but they're going to say that he shaded him, he delayed him, so a bit of a right-of-way violation, but a shading. There's a number of different verbiage that you can use there: blocking, shading, crossing. In this case, it'd be shading, and that's going to be inside the 60s, so you're going to get the open goal penalty 2, 30-yard shot in favor of Richard Mille. And now look at 3 unanswered goals in the fourth chucker by Team Audi White, and now the shoe's on the other foot, and Richard Mille has the opportunity to have 2 unanswered goals with 3:52 on the clock.
So anyone's game, still very open indeed. And interesting how that's a little bit like a roller coaster, First it's Audi.
The Audi team did not give up any open goals in the first half, and I mean the Richard Mille team, and Audi now getting 2 shots on penalty 2 to 3s, and Richard Mille. So there you go, the high flag.
No mistake, absolutely. And there is the new lead. Pablo McDonough now also with a total of 4 goals to his name, overtaking Gonzalito Pierres, who was leading in that team with a total of 3 goals. But still, Hector Castagnola leading the goal-scoring tally with 5 goals, a hat-trick in Chaka number 4. But it's 2-0 here in Chaka number 5. Overall score, as I say, 7-6 in favour of Richard Mille. Nick Roldan winning that throw-in, and he got a piece of it there from Alejandro Navijo Estrada. Quickly turned around once again. The 10-goaler, Pablo McDonough. Roldan coming back. A little deflection. A new line, of course, is created. Yeah. Well, they were coming from all sides, from all angles on that one. That'll be a difficult one.
Yeah, this is a very difficult play here. That ball popped straight up in the air, and you had 2 players coming from one angle, And I'm not exactly sure the ball, and it turned around here by Pablo, and then it got picked up. It bounced off a pony. Then Nick took control. He backed it off of Pablo's pony, went straight up in the air. Then it rolled back the opposite way. And it actually was a great call here because Gonzalito Pierres, so well done. Pepe Rider right in the right spot. I could not see that at first, but it did roll towards the boards at 45 degrees, giving the number 2 in blue the right of way. So a very strong call with players coming from everywhere on that one, and that's how difficult it can be sometimes. But here comes Alejandro, and he's in range.
Decides to tap it in, bring it a bit more into the center. He's going to get past Castagnola. We'll leave the ball now for McDonough. McDonough with quite a bit of space goes for the more difficult under the neck shot to send it back to Alejandro Navijo Estrada, but he's just going to run out of polo field. So the set play there did look good, but just unlucky on the finish.
Yeah, I like this play, because Alejandro's been hitting the ball very deep, but you could hear him say, play it, play it. At the beginning, they gave him a lot of space on the 5A, and then Pablo took it to a spot where he can hit that ball cleanly. He just hits it off to the right, and here comes Audi. Audi, but picked up and controlled by Pablo.
Just avoiding that ball going over the halfway line. So Richard Mille, you can literally sense how much they want this win. And another whistle here. This time Nick Roldan and Pablo McDonough, they're just getting tangled up in their mallets.
Yeah, now these players are overlapped on that play, so Pablo gets control, and then he's trying to work it around. But it looked like to me they're overlapped on the knock-in here. Fred hits a nice big ball, Freddie Mannix, down the field. He hit it so hard that it actually was picked up by Pablo, though. He turned it around, and then what happened was 2 players were overlapped. And when we say overlapped, that means when the horse is, any part of the horse is overlapped. Could be the rear end, could be the head of a horse. And when they're in that, you cannot back into the pony. So Pablo could not get away from the hook. He went for the back shot. And so he'll get called on that play, and it'll be a 5A, and it'll be Fred.
Mannix corrects himself there. Hammers that one across the field, across the pitch, looking for the Cobra. And again, the Cobra just being beaten to it there by McDonough. In comes Nick Roldan. And Nick Roldan has got an incredible eye for the ball on the near side. Nick Roldan. What a goal by the 8-goaler, Nick Roldan. His first, Dale, of the game.
Yeah, Nicky's first goal of the second, actually. Did he get one in the second, Chucker?
No.
I thought that Nicky had one in the second, Chucker. We'll have to check the stats on that. But I love this play by Nick to take the ball from the right side, the offside, and flip it to his left side, and then fire the neck shot, the near side neck shot, to pick up a great goal inside the 60-yard line.
So 7 goals apiece. So 7 goals apiece. And as we said, Dale, anyone's game. Ball back in play, and it's going to come down more so than before to winning those throw-ins. And working so well and so hard. Alejandro Navijo Estrada, well, for a minute there, it looked like the gloves were coming off.
Yeah, they all came together there, and they'll talk a little bit about this. And they might be able to use a trigger here, so they'll ask all the players to ride away. They can use a trigger if they want to look at this. We'll take a look. It looked like there's some contact because Alejandro took the ball around, and then Nick comes over, and yeah, Nick does go to the backside a little bit of Alejandro. Looked like rub the back of him a little bit. He gets the hook done, but then it rubs them a little. We'll see what else they do here. See what they decide to do. They talk about it. They have a conversation based on the play. It's kind of scrappy on the thing. They can take a look at it if they want. We'll see what they want to do. See what they want to do. You want a challenge? We want a trigger on the first play. You want a trigger? Yeah, they get a trigger. They can trigger. Yep, 100%. Yep, we got a trigger. I got it. Okay, so we're going to go to a trigger here, Jan, on the contact.
Okay, so the umpires, of course, they can trigger. That is exactly what Mark Ganzi wanted the umpires to do, to pull exactly that trigger card to review that play. So that will be studied very carefully now. A lot at stake. 1 minute and 4 left to play here in the penultimate 5th chukker. 7 goals apiece. So this, of course, is very, very important for both teams, of course. And I can understand that, of course, they want to make sure that the umpires get it absolutely spot on, and that is where, again, the technology, of course, in the studio is so important. And, yeah, I was going to say, that young man is living a little bit dangerously over there. Thank you very much for getting him out of the danger zone, or the safety zone, rather. So, as Dale is in communication with the studio, the CTV Sports studio, a chance for me to remind you that, of course, the semi-finals of this, the All-Star Challenge, will be coming on your screens this Sunday. Times yet to be confirmed, and you might just want to make a note as well that a week Sunday, the 26th of February, will be the finals of this, the first of our WPL tournaments of the season 2023. Dale, tell us.
Okay, so they went back and did a trigger there, and it is against the blue, for the white, guys. For the white, against the blade. Wait a minute, guys. Pepe.
Well, now, of course, the information needs to be relayed to the two mounted officials, Pepe Araja and Esteban Ferrari. And you might have heard in the background, Dale was making it quite clear that after the review in the studio, it's a foul against blue, so in favour of Audi, who, of course, are wearing the white shirts. So, again, Mark Ganzi with a great eye and a great sense for...
yeah, no, it's a good trigger. You remember any time that two four-legged athletes come together, or two two-leggeds with the mallet, you can go to the video to check. And so a great trigger there, yeah. And a good move there. So penalty 5A from the spot.
And we're down to the last 50 seconds here in Chukker number 5. And as we were suggesting a little bit earlier, Dale, this is going to go down to the wire. But this man, Alejandro Navijo Estrada, has again, set this team, Richard Mille, on fire. He's done ever so well. Obviously sending those nice, long, deep balls down and up the field. Hasn't actually scored yet, but I'm sure that will make never mind, as that now. With the last 20 or so seconds left to play, well, we have a whistle on that play, so we're going to have to wait what the outcome is of that whistle. But make sure you join us. It is 7 goals apiece. 6 Chukker action coming your way here on CTV Sports when we come back.
All right, here we go for our 6th Chukker action, World Polo League All-Star Challenge. And everybody's sitting back waiting to see, well, exactly, Brookshire. Scott Wood, Pipe Versaluno, Pipe, and Polito, and De Carrillo sitting back. At this moment, Audi still has a challenge for the 6th Chukker. So that's a little bit of an edge here, 7-7. And Richard Mille, they lost their challenge in the fourth chukker. So if needed, the Audi team can use their challenge. But a very tight game and anybody's match here. Once again, we want to thank everyone for coming out to Grand Champions Polo Club and checking us on CTV Sports all around the world. Hope you're enjoying this game for the Grand Champions Polo Club, field number 1. And this first ball will be controlled by Richard Mille, and they were super strong, Yannick Frank, at the beginning of the 5th. So it'll be the Strada, and he's been very strong today. Here's Alejandro.
Taps the ball into play. Here we go. Chukker, number 6, about to start. 7 goals apiece. Well, I don't know where I'd rather be, Dale. One thing's for sure, I wouldn't want to be in the office. I'd rather be sitting right here, field number 1 at Grand Champions Polo Club, to see the outcome of this very, very important game. Mannix there, able to clear that ball over on the far side now. Head to Castagnola, just been beaten to it once again. He has been playing phenomenally well. Alejandro Novijo Estrada drilling those long, long balls. There comes the shot on goal, and it just goes wide.
Wow.
Just goes wide.
Wow, so both teams going. I like that play from Alejandro. Good non-call by the Mount officials. Hit the road for it, but a lot of space in between them. So I like the non-call. And then Pablo worked that ball in so quickly. And I get a little help there. Looks like maybe one of the umpire radios came down or something. So Pablo helping out there. Gonzalito. Looks like Pablo. Oh, Gonzalito's going to help the umpire out there just get them organized, and they're going to start back with a knock-in. So once again, Richard Mille coming out, shooting at the goal, and Pablo getting an opportunity there for the next shot, just a little bit off to the right side. Looks like Team Audi will have a team huddle down in the corner. Looks like we have an umpire timeout for one of the four-legged athletes, so we will have a timeout here, tack time, for one of our Mount officials. Remember, the umpires, they do ride 2 to 3 horses per game. If needed, they ride 2, and if needed, there's a third always ready, just in case, depending on the style and the flow of the game. And here we go. It's going to be, again, Fred.
Mannix to get things underway here. Nice long ball over on the far side. Now they're trying to, we've seen that, Dale, a lot more in the second half. They've used and brought Nick Roldan much more into the game here in that second half. And he scored that cracking goal, as we remember, in that last chukker. But once again, not able to get out of their own half. Well, things getting a little bit patchy and a little bit messy out there now with 6:18 on the clock. Still nothing in it. 7 goals apiece.
Yeah, Pablo's going to bring his ball back across the center. And then a little bit of a dicier play. Looked like Mark came over to make a defensive play. Kind of slid from left to right. A little bit too far. Just get the blocking foul. So they're sitting at about the 80-yard line. And it looks like they might bring that one in for a 40-yard shot. But yeah, it might be a 60 or a 40. We'll see. It looks like a 40-yard shot. So penalty 3. So very consistent here on the ball placement. Our 2 Mount officials today, that is the object, to be very consistent based on your ball placement. And that's moving the ball from space to space. And here we go. It'll be Pablo for the go-ahead goal.
McDonough makes no mistake. There it is. They puts his team back in the lead. Pablo McDonough for Richard Mille. So far the first and only goal scored here in chukker number 6, but still 6 minutes left on the clock. So do not count your chickens just yet. This is still very much anyone's game.
Yeah, Pablo McDonough picking up goal number 5. And here we go. He's going to pick up a bowling here and off to the races.
Yeah, McDonough just taking the pace out a little bit. He's got Gonzalito behind him. Unloads another one of those long shots in front of goal. The backhand from Alejandro Novijo Estrada. He just put it wide. Whew.
Wow, and now we've seen a different look here by the Richard Mille team as Gilberto is going ahead and rotate around to the back. And looks like he is playing a bit further back. And now we got Alejandro running through. But on the far side, on a knock-in, it'll be a hit.
Castagnola up at front now. Nick Roldan waiting in vain for the moment for that ball to come. Still Castagnolo trying to just untangle himself. There comes the drive. And he sent it out to the left-hand side looking for Ganzi. Ganzi will leave that one. And another whistle.
So now they come together here on a big ball by Hetta Castagnolo. They started off with Fred Mannix on the far left side. They find Hetta. Hetta comes into the center. Then he drives one down the left side. Mark Ganzi. And the Richard Mille team does not have a challenge. No challenge for the Richard Mille team. No challenge. They use their challenge in the fourth chucker, and I hate to say that the matrix is right, but
you're absolutely right there, Dale. I mean, your words absolutely spot on there. That risk-reward matrix, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I always try to save it. This is when you would want to try to save it, but they can't use it anyways. But it looked like a good call here. It just looked like another shading call as Gandy was trying to run through. So the other thing about this one here now is you're going to get the open goal penalty, Yan, as they are around the same area. So they're going to move it up here for a 40-yard shot.
Looking for goal number 6. Yep, and that looks pretty... No, he's put it wide. He's put it wide. Well, the horse didn't help.
Didn't get any help from the four-legged athlete there. No. They do get a little squirrely sometimes, as you say, but that was actually a penalty 2. So a penalty 2 just hit wide. Sorry about that, Chase. That was a 2. So we'll put that on the charts.
So Richard Mille dodging a big bullet there, holding on to that lead, and we've got 4.5 minutes left to play. And there is the open ball. McDonough drills it up to the front to Gonzalito. Oh, Gonzalito, good first touch. Gonzalito on the near side just puts that one through with the utmost of elegance. Cracking goal there for Gonzalito.
Yeah, and you wonder why Gonzalito plays the number 2 in the Argentine Open. Well, there's a perfect example is when he gets going. Fred Mannix came very well mounted here. Pretty ball by Pablo, and Fred came back super strong. I mean, had the horsepower just like a quarter, an inch or so away from making the hook there, and then a nice finish by Gonzalito on the near side.
9 goals to 7, 2 goals in it, 3:50 on the clock. Audi need to come up and need to rev that engine now. Well, Dan trying to do something with it. Remember, they change ends, but once again, Alejandro Navijo Estrada, definitely for me one of the strongest players out there here this afternoon. Not able to, well, finish what he started. Once again, it's turned around. Let's see. Audi now with a lot of room here for Hetta Castagnolo to work with. Still Castagnolo, he's got to be careful. He's got a bit of traffic coming in the form of Gonzalito, but look how he just goes through a knife like butter there. Absolutely fantastic polo here by Hetta Castagnolo.
Yeah, que golazo Hetta Castagnolo, man. When this kid gets going, the faster the better, and that was just a beautiful run. He had some help down there, people trying to clear the way from him, but he drags it over the backside of Pablo, and then Pablo just had to fall into the rumble seat and hope for the miss, but we all know Hetta Castagnolo, 10 goals, and when he's not 10 goals for not missing those balls, he is awesome at speed, man. Wow, what a goal, and that's going to put him within 1, and here we go. This is what I love about the courtesy change. 2 minutes, 55 seconds left. Get ready for top four-legged athletes. Everybody will get on one of their best ones here to try to finish this game out. Jan, Eric, Frank, what a game this one's been.
Absolutely it has, and with just that one goal in it, still plenty of time, 2:55 to be precise. And I'm sure you mentioned it yourself earlier, Dale, Brookshire will be watching very closely to the outcome of this game. Now, if you were Brookshire, Dale, who would you rather face in the semi-final on Sunday?
Oh, I think they match up. We went over this, you and I and Steve Lane, and we broke these teams down. And there is not a weak team in the World Polo League. I mean, everybody has their different strategies and gameplay, but I mean, look at it. I mean, it's been so close. 2-1 after the first. Audi 3-3 after the second. 5-3, Richard Mille took over. After the fourth, 6-5, Audi takes the lead. They leave the fifth 7-7. How much more can you ask for? So just a matter of just lining up. You just got to get focused. I think just focus on your own team. Focus on your strengths, play your strengths, and that's what we've been seeing here in the World Polo League.
Ball's back in play. Castagnola for Audi. Picks it up. Roldan goes up. The Cobra goes up. Now also Mr. Mannix going up. So everything coming from Castagnola, but it's going to be game over as Alejandro Novillo Estrada just got a little bit too cool for school there, I think. Able to redeem himself. And we have a whistle. Well, this is not what you want now, Dale, if you are Richard Mille. 2:33 on the clock. And the two umpires, as you can see, in conference here to evaluate and make sure they get this one absolutely spot on. Because this could either be an opportunity for the equaliser or not. So Dale, once again, talking to our IRO, our instant replay official. And be very, very keen to hear what Steve had to say, Dale, and what you can tell us.
So we have a trigger on the play on the ride-off. Trigger on the play on the ride-off, guys.
You might be able to hear that in the background, but
against the blue.
a trigger on the play called, of course, by the umpires. Now, the umpires can call as many triggers as they deem necessary. And
foul against the blue. C, foul. So thank you, Steve.
So Dale?
So a trigger on the play on any ride-off, as we said, and this is why we put this into the game, is it comes into being so close on plays like this, and just great footage there. And so IRO right on it, Steve Lane, too far in front, as you can see, uneven ride-off would be the exact verbiage on this one. Remember, on the ride-off, you need to be a little bit further back.
So penalty.
2 or 3, Steve. Un momento, man. Un momento. Posible. Un momento. Un momento.
Wow.
Penalty 3.
Penalty 3. So 40 yards is the call by the umpires. So a big chance here now, Dale, for Audi to draw level.
Yeah, so that's good. And now the umpires can check on their ball placement on this, on the trigger. So I like this also. Give the opportunity. So it will be a penalty 3. Here's Nick.
And Nick Roldan will make no mistake, hammers that one through, picking up his second goal of the game. Dale, it is 9 goals apiece, but still plenty of time. I am going to lean out of the window and say possibly the next goal wins.
Yeah, I don't know. There could be a couple more goals in this game. The way these teams have been fired up, and we know, remember, they just had some misses early, but both teams been shooting at the goal so well today. So possession is so big now, Jan. Just getting possession. Both teams seem to be very comfortable with each other, dialed in, working well. The only advantage is that the Audi still has a challenge. So we'll see what happens there. Gonzalito and now Pablo.
McDonough. Just having to take the pace out a little bit. McDonough now going into second gear. Down comes the hammer once again from Nick Roldan. The Cobra. Oh, it landed perfectly on the green for him. Now then, the two number ones battling it out. You can see Mark clearly not happy, thinking that he might have ridden into his swing here, but the umpire allowing play to continue. The ball's sent back up to the front door. The Cobra, he'll pick this one up. A shot on goal by Ganzi. Now, if that was a Remington, I don't know what is. What was?
Just off to the side, and that is a Remington to the highest level. And, wow, we're going to click down to a minute here. So we could be seeing 7 chuckers. Get ready. We'll see. Possession in control. Alejandro.
Novillo Estrada. Will he make the difference? Well, he's made a huge impact in this game so far. Richard Mille once again on the move. Gilberto Sayao at the front door waiting for that ball to come, but you can see that Pablo McDonough, Gonzalito Pierres are Struggling to get that ball a bit further down the field. Here comes the long shot. And now this would be great for the man from Brazil to finish right when it needed it the most. Saved on the doorstep. The Cobra picks it up nicely on the near side. Let's have a look at the clock. We're down to the last 10 seconds of play. And 9 goals apiece. And it's not like I didn't say the next goal was going to win this one, but they are just going to, I think, run out of time. So either way.
I'm not letting you get away with that one, though. That was a good one, though, yeah. But we're going to OT, everybody. 7 chuggers. Put your hands together here at the sideline. Wow, what a game. Woo, 9-9. This one's going back and forth. Now, remember, both teams will receive a new challenge. Both teams will get a challenge in the 7 chucker. Get yourself a snack because we'll be right back on CTV Sports for our overtime chucker, sudden death overtime. And the advantage will be for Richard Mille with a bowl-in, or actually a bowl-in right down inside the 60-yard line. Wow, what a game. We'll be back here for our sudden death overtime chucker, Richard Mille, Audi, live on CTV Sports.
The World Polo League, a new breed of polo.
Okay, looks like we got both teams out on the field, so both our umpires look like we're ready to go. And Jan, Eric, Frank, overtime chucker.
Absolutely, Dale. 9 goals apiece. And, well, still anyone's game, Dale. Anyone's game. But if anything...
So I guess you can say the next goal's going to win and you'll be all right. This one. So we're live. We're ready to go. So they're ready to go. And remember, they do get 5 minutes, but they decided, no, they're going to get ready to go. The sun is setting here at beautiful Grand Champions Polo Club Field number 1. And, well, sudden death overtime, a bit of an advantage. Now, remember, the Richard Mille team will receive another challenge now.
Yep.
So both teams do receive a challenge in the overtime chucker, which I love that procedure. That means if the game has to end on a penalty, it will be able to be looked at by the officials. And our IRO, Steve Lane, doing an amazing job in there today. And we've used a lot of challenges. Actually, in the first half, both teams successful on their challenges. Audi successful twice, and Richard Mille successful once. And then in the second half, Richard Mille chose to use their challenge early. It was unsuccessful. And then Audi did not have to use their challenge. And they used a couple triggers, which were brought to the video, and those worked out clean. And then here we are in our overtime, sudden death overtime chuckers. The first goal will win. Next goal. And it's just the bowling. Now the possession is huge here. You have the bowling down inside the 60-yard line. And Audi, they'll have the inside there. I wonder if they set this up here. It might be a little different. We'll see what they decide to do. They go man to man. They send a man down in the goal mouth. There's so many different plays they can play. It is down right off of the coffin corner. So just off the corner, they're going to line them up on Esteban Ferrari. And away we go.
So best of luck, of course, to both teams. Ball's in play now. This could go all the way for 7 minutes, but it could also be over in a matter of seconds. Alejandro Navijo Estrada. And he, as I say, has been working so hard. And he's looking to maybe find a little gap there and put an end to what has been another exceptional and thrilling game. And we have a whistle in front of that goal, Matteo.
And we get a whistle, and I'm sure you'll probably see a challenge just to see, as they do have a foul, but they're going to check the... Okay, the white team is going to challenge.
So Audi, who of course will make the most, and why shouldn't they now? This, as far as that risk-reward matrix is concerned, well, this would be as good a time as any to make a challenge on that play. But I'm not sure. I really am not sure. There was a lot of traffic in front of that goal mouth. So this is where the technology will be so instrumental now in assessing and therefore evaluating exactly what the call will be made. Okay, well, I'm going to just wait for Dale to announce what he's just been told or informed by IRO. Dale?
So the foul will stand. There was a blocking foul in front of the goal against Audi. You can see all those horses come together. There was a group of them, and that's an open goal penalty 2 from about 10 yards, and there you go. Pablo McDonough will get the game-winning goal.
So, a bit of an anticlimax end, but it is, of course, a win. Pablo McDonough winning the golden goal in overtime, making it 10 goals to 9. But, of course, very interested to hear what the statistics, the end-of-match statistics will tell us. And, Dale, really in situ, over to you.
All right, thank you, Jan. And there you go. What do you 7 chuckers. What a game it was. It was a good one. 10-9. 21 shots by Audi, 19 by Richard Mille. 9 knock-ins by Audi, 12 by Richard Mille. 11 throw-ins, 1 by Audi, 9 by Richard Mille. 10 fouls committed by Audi, 7 by Richard Mille. 4 scored by Audi, penalty shots, 3 by Richard Mille. And they were 40s and 30s, so it went back and forth. What a game. Congratulations to Richard Mille. This has been an amazing start to the 2023 World Polo League. I'm glad you joined us here on CTV Sports. For Jan, Edic, Frank, I'm Dale Schwetz. I speak for everyone at CTV Sports when I say thank you for making us the leaders of polo broadcasting. And always remember here at CTV Sports, we love the polo.